Dogo Argentino found a forest ranger chained to a tree. What they did next will make you cry. The massive white dog burst through the underbrush, ears alert and muscles tensed. Luna, the Dogo Argentino, froze when she saw the man slumped against the ancient oak, his wrists raw and bleeding from the chains that bound him to the trunk. Forest Ranger Mike Sullivan's eyes widened with desperate hope as the powerful dog approached. His cracked lips formed words, but no sound emerged from his parched throat. 3 days without water had left him barely conscious. Luna hesitated for only a moment before racing back the way she came, her powerful legs carrying her through the dense forest with extraordinary speed. Minutes later, she returned, pulling frantically at her owner's sleeve, whining with an urgency that couldn't be ignored. The dog's behavior was so unusual, so insistent, that her owner, Alex Ramirez, knew something was terribly wrong. Following Luna through the winding forest paths, Alex stumbled upon the horrifying scene. A man near death, cruelly chained and abandoned in one of the most remote sections of Blackwater National Forest. Before we continue, if you enjoy incredible animal rescue stories, make sure to click that subscribe button. This is the best way for you to support our work. Thank you very much, and let's continue. 6 months earlier, Mike Sullivan had accepted his dream job as a forest ranger at Blackwater National Forest. After years of desk work analyzing environmental impact reports, he was finally where he belonged, surrounded by towering pines and the quiet symphony of nature. At 43, Mike had started to feel the years of office work in his bones, and the opportunity to spend his days protecting the wilderness he loved seemed like the perfect second chapter in his life. The transition wasn't without challenges. Some of the locals viewed the National Forest Service with suspicion, particularly those whose livelihoods depended on hunting, logging, or other activities that might be restricted by environmental regulations. Mike tried to bridge these divides, hosting community meetings and listening to concerns, but tensions remained. Among the most vocal critics was Wade Thornton, whose family had run a logging operation in the area for generations. The Thornton Timber Company had recently been denied permits to expand their cutting into protected areas, a decision that Wade blamed squarely on government interference. Their confrontations had grown increasingly heated at town meetings, but Mike never imagined it would escalate beyond harsh words. On the other side of town, Alex Ramirez had made a life-changing decision. A combat veteran struggling with PTSD, Alex had found that traditional therapies weren't enough to quiet the storms in his mind. His therapist had suggested a service dog, and after extensive research, Alex had chosen a Dogo Argentino, a breed known not only for its strength and loyalty, but also for its exceptional tracking abilities and protective instincts. Luna came into Alex's life as a 6-month-old rescue. Her previous owner had abandoned her when she proved too energetic for apartment living. From the moment Alex met the powerful white dog with gentle eyes, something clicked. They understood each other in a way that transcended words. Luna seemed to sense when Alex's anxiety was building, pressing her warm body against his legs or placing her head in his lap before the panic attacks could take hold. Their daily routine included long hikes through the national forest, the rhythm of their footsteps and Luna's occasional explorations providing a moving meditation that helped keep Alex centered. It was during one of these hikes that they first met Ranger Sullivan, who had stopped to admire Luna and chat about the forest's wildlife. Over the months, a friendship developed. Mike would share interesting nature facts or point out rare birds, while Alex and Luna provided company during the Rangers' sometimes lonely patrols. It was a simple relationship, built on mutual respect and a shared love of the wilderness. The day everything changed started like any other. Mike had been investigating reports of illegal hunting in the northern section of the forest. Evidence suggested someone was setting traps in protected areas, potentially endangering both protected species and unsuspecting hikers. The investigation had led him to a remote area rarely visited even by the most adventurous hikers. As Mike documented a recently disturbed area that suggested illegal activity, a twig snapped behind him. Before he could fully turn, something hard struck the back of his head. He awoke to find himself chained to a massive oak tree, his radio and phone gone. Through the fog of concussion, he recognized his attacker, Wade Thornton, along with 2 men he didn't recognize. "You've been poking around where you don't belong, Ranger," Wade snarled. "Maybe a few days out here will teach you to mind your own business." Mike tried to reason with them, to explain that whatever they were doing, this would only make it worse. But the men simply laughed as they walked away, ignoring his pleas. Left alone, Mike assessed his situation with growing dread. The chains were secured with heavy padlocks. His canteen had been emptied onto the ground before being tossed just beyond his reach. A particular cruelty in the summer heat. The remote location meant it could be days before anyone noticed he was missing. For 3 days, Mike drifted in and out of consciousness as dehydration and exposure took their toll. He tried everything to free himself, searching for sharp rocks to work at the chains, attempting to break the padlocks against the tree trunk, even trying to slip his swollen hands through the restraints. Nothing worked. By the 3rd day, he had stopped calling for help, his voice reduced to a rasp that wouldn't carry beyond the small clearing. Meanwhile, Alex had noticed something strange in Luna's behavior. The normally calm dog had become restless, pacing the house and whining at the door. When they finally set out for their daily hike, Luna pulled at her leash with unusual urgency, veering off their regular path and leading Alex deeper into the forest than they typically ventured. Alex trusted Luna's instincts implicitly. If something had caught her attention this powerfully, it was worth investigating. Still, nothing prepared him for what they found. Ranger Sullivan, the friendly man who had shared so many pleasant conversations with them, now barely recognizable. His sun-blistered skin was hot to the touch, his lips cracked and bleeding, his breathing shallow. What happened next demonstrated the profound bond between humans and animals in crisis. While Alex frantically called 911, Luna seemed to understand the gravity of the situation. The massive dog lay down beside the ranger, pressing her cool body against his overheated skin. When Alex finished the call and approached with his canteen, Luna gently licked Mike's face, as if encouraging him to wake up enough to drink. "Luna found you," Alex explained as he carefully helped Mike take small sips of water. "She knew something was wrong. She led me straight to you. Emergency services estimated their arrival would take at least 45 minutes given the remote location." During that time, Alex did everything he could to make Mike comfortable, creating shade with his jacket, carefully cleaning the wounded wrists, and continuing to offer small amounts of water. Throughout it all, Luna remained vigilantly by Mike's side, occasionally nudging him with her nose when his eyes would close for too long, as if understanding the danger of him losing consciousness. When the rescue team finally arrived, they were astonished that Mike had survived. "Another few hours out here and we would have been too late," the paramedic confided to Alex as they loaded the ranger into the helicopter. "That dog of yours is a hero." The investigation that followed uncovered the extent of Wade Thornton's illegal operations. Beyond unauthorized logging, he had been running an elaborate poaching ring, targeting protected species and selling them on the black market. Mike had unwittingly discovered one of their processing sites, putting himself in danger without even realizing it. During Mike's weeks of recovery in the hospital, Luna and Alex became regular visitors. The dog that had saved his life seemed to appoint herself his personal therapy animal, curling up carefully beside him on the hospital bed during their visits. Her warm presence speeding his healing in ways the doctors couldn't explain but didn't question. "I don't know how to thank you," Mike said during one of these visits, his voice still raspy but growing stronger. "Both of you." Alex shook his head. "It was all Luna. Something told her you were out there, and she wouldn't give up until we found you." The bond that formed between them during this crisis transformed into something deeper. As Mike regained his strength, he began joining Alex and Luna on shorter walks, gradually building back his stamina. The three became inseparable, each healing in their own way through the connection they shared. 6 months after the rescue, Mike made a proposal that would change all their lives. The Forest Service was expanding their K-9 Ranger program, using specially trained dogs to assist with search and rescue operations, wildlife tracking, and detecting environmental threats like invasive species. Luna's remarkable abilities and proven instincts made her an ideal candidate. "You two would be partners," Mike explained to Alex. "The program needs handlers as much as it needs dogs. Your military experience plus what you two already share It's perfect. The idea of having purpose again, of using the connection he and Luna had developed to help others and protect the wilderness they both loved, resonated deeply with Alex. After completing the necessary training together, Alex and Luna became the first K-9 unit assigned to Blackwater National Forest, with Ranger Sullivan as their supervisor. Their first official rescue came just weeks later. A young hiker had wandered off trail and fallen into a ravine, breaking her leg. As darkness fell and temperatures dropped, the situation became increasingly dangerous. Standard search patterns had failed to locate her, but Luna, with her exceptional tracking abilities, picked up the scent where others had missed it. The girl's parents couldn't stop crying as they thanked the team that had brought their daughter back safely. Watching Luna accept gentle pats from the rescued hiker, Alex caught Mike's eye. No words were needed between them. Both men understood the beautiful circularity of the moment. The dog who had once saved a ranger now continued to save others, completing a circle of rescue and redemption that touched everyone involved. News of Luna's ability spread, and she became something of a local celebrity. Children would point and whisper when they saw the distinctive white Dogo Argentino in her official K-9 unit vest. But fame never changed her. She remained focused, dedicated, and utterly devoted to her work and her people. The story might have ended there, a happy conclusion to a harrowing ordeal. But life rarely wraps up so neatly. A year after the rescue, Wade Thornton completed his plea deal, providing evidence against larger trafficking networks in exchange for a reduced sentence. Part of his agreement included community service, which to everyone's surprise, he requested to serve with the Forest Service. Mike was understandably hesitant when the request crossed his desk. The man had left him to die, had shown no regard for the forest or its creatures, but something in the accompanying letter gave him pause, a genuine expression of remorse, and a desire to make amends not just legally, but personally. The first meeting between the two men was tense and uncomfortable. Wade could barely meet Mike's eyes as he apologized, explaining how his family's financial troubles and his own pride had led him down a destructive path. "I'm not asking for forgiveness," he said quietly. "I just want a chance to try to balance the scales, even knowing they can never truly be balanced." It was Luna who broke the tension. The dog who had saved Mike's life approached Wade cautiously, sniffing him thoroughly before sitting directly in front of him, her intelligent eyes seeming to take his measure. After a long moment, she nudged his hand with her nose, not friendship, exactly, but perhaps a willingness to allow him the chance to prove himself. Over the following months, Wade worked under close supervision, initially performing basic maintenance tasks, but gradually earning more responsibility. He proved to have an extensive knowledge of the forest from his years of illicit activities within it, knowledge that, ironically, made him valuable to conservation efforts once it was redirected toward protection rather than exploitation. The transformation wasn't immediate or simple. There were setbacks and moments of doubt on all sides. But gradually, redemption took root and grew, much like the saplings Wade planted in areas his company had once illegally logged. The former enemies didn't become friends exactly, but they developed a working relationship built on shared goals and growing mutual respect. For Alex and Luna, watching this slow healing process added another dimension to their own journey. If such profound harm could be acknowledged and addressed, if someone could change so fundamentally, then perhaps the wounds of war that Alex still carried could continue to heal as well. 3 years after Luna first burst through the underbrush to find a dying man chained to a tree, Blackwater National Forest hosted a ceremony to commemorate the expansion of their K-9 Ranger program. Now 5 teams strong, the unit had become a model for other forests across the country. Alex and Luna, as the founding team, were given special recognition. As Alex accepted the award with Luna sitting proudly at his side, he looked out at the gathered crowd. There was Mike, now the head ranger, standing tall and healthy. Beside him was Wade, now employed full-time by the Forest Service after completing his sentence. The two men standing together without tension. In the audience were families of those Luna had helped rescue, colleagues who had become friends, and community members who had come to see the Forest Service not as an adversary, but as a protector of their shared natural heritage. "This award really belongs to Luna," Alex said, his hand resting on his partner's head. She taught me that sometimes the way forward is to follow someone who sees things we can't, who senses connections we might miss. She taught me that rescue goes both ways, that in saving others, we often save ourselves. As if understanding she was being discussed, Luna lifted her head and let out a single, dignified bark that echoed through the pavilion, drawing laughter and applause. The sound seemed to ripple outward, through the gathered people and into the forest beyond, a reminder of the unexpected connections that bind us to each other and to the natural world around us. The ceremony concluded with the unveiling of a new trail marker, a simple wooden sign carved with Luna's paw print and the words Luna's Path beneath it. The trail would connect previously separate sections of the forest, creating new opportunities for wildlife movement and human enjoyment alike. As Mike explained to the gathered crowd, this trail represents what Luna showed us all, that sometimes finding a new path forward requires courage, instinct, and the willingness to venture into unknown territory. Like Luna herself, this path will bring people together who might otherwise never have met and help them discover aspects of the forest, and perhaps themselves, that they never knew existed. That evening, as sunset painted the forest in gold, Alex, Mike, and Luna walked the newly marked trail together. No words were needed between them as they moved through the dappled light. 3 lives irrevocably changed by a moment of crisis and the remarkable chain of events it had set in motion. Luna trotted slightly ahead, occasionally looking back as if to ensure her humans were still following, still together. The powerful dog who had once been abandoned, who had found her purpose in saving others, continued to lead the way, not just along a forest path, but along a journey of healing, connection, and profound transformation. In the end, perhaps that was the greatest lesson of their shared story. That rescue comes in many forms, that healing is rarely a straight line, and that sometimes the most profound connections emerge from our darkest moments. And watching Luna move confidently through the forest she had helped protect, both men silently acknowledged the same truth, that sometimes the ones we think we're saving are actually saving us.